All right. All right. So tonight I'm going to be working on our current robot. Right now, he's just a bunch of guts. There we go. This is what he looks like. There's a Raspberry Pi 4. Got an Arduino Nano clone here. This is just an amplifier for this speaker. And up here we have a tilt pan, 2 servos, and an infrared camera up here, which is above where you can't see. But this is what I'm concerning myself with tonight, is this temporary setup. I had everything hooked to a board. I'm going to be transferring and hopefully routing this spaghetti nonsense better into a body that I 3D printed. I've been, over the past few years, I've been building in-move robots, 3D printed robots, and I decided to go with one of those torsos, and I printed it at 60% of the print, so it would most likely fit these parts. And that's what I'm going to try and fit those in there tonight. Tomorrow night, our programmer is going to be here, and we're going to be working on some of the code for the face logging, the face ID cataloging that we're going to be doing, so that our robot will not only be able to identify faces, specific people's faces, address them, and then when someone new comes in, it will be able to address them and ask for their name. They can enter their name and then log their images and be able to recognize them next time. So we'll be kind of working on finalizing some of that tomorrow night. We're hoping to live stream tomorrow night for a little bit during that, and then see where it goes. Tonight I'm going to try and get some of this prepped for tomorrow. So that's kind of what I'm getting into. I got to basically unplug everything, get everything off of here, make sure I've marked everything where it's going. I got a PIR sensor here as well, which we haven't totally defined if we're going to use this or not. We're using it to activate the robot so that when someone comes in the room, it would alert him, and he would become active and start looking for faces. I think we've still got that in some kind of dormant mode at the moment, and that we're deciding what role this is going to play and whether we're going to keep it or not. I think we are going to keep it just for some type of initializing of his operations. So I'm still going to add it into the robot as of right now. All right, so I guess what I'm going to start doing here is basically start unhooking things. I've marked some of this stuff, but I got to get some stuff out of the way. So I'm going to take this pink cable out first. This is just an audio cable. It's way too long for the job. I need to get a much shorter one. This is just audio coming from the Pi4 going to the amplifier for his voice. Obviously, it's too much of a cable for the job, so I need something that's a whole heck of a lot shorter. So I gotta find one of those or make one of those. All right. Next, the connection between the Arduino Nano and the Pi, which is a USB connection. It's going to be right here. It's really long. That could be a much shorter cable too, but it's just we were going with what we had for the moment. I'll put this stuff aside. All right. All right, then we have a HDMI adapter for that small HDMI connection that's on the Pi4 to a standard cable. I'll get that aside. All right, and then we've got power going to the Pi. That's going to be this cable here. And put that over here. All right, I've already labeled the bundles that are going to both of the servo motors for the tilt pan for the head. So I've got them marked with blue tape and black tape. This one's coming a little loose. Don't want that. All right, so I can unplug these no problem and be able to reconnect them later reliably. I am also going to, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and remove this tilt pan from my little temporary stand here. I guess I am going to need to, just to get it out of the way, so I can get this whole stand out of the way, so we can work on the body. And I need it available because I've got to figure out. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to actually fit this tilt pan into the body. It's kind of big, and this assembly. Yeah, I haven't really worked that out. I'm kind of just going step by step, just kind of winging it as we go. I 3D printed these two parts and modified some things. This top part came from Thingiverse. Somebody had made a casing for this camera, so I went ahead and printed that and the mount, but the mount wasn't right, so I modified it a few times. I think what I'm going to end up doing next is combining these two pieces that are hooked together by a screw and making one solid piece, because it just keeps coming loose and causing problems. It just needs to be one solid piece. I may modify what the head looks like so it kind of balances out with the rest of the body, and that'll make sense here in a little bit once I get the body out. But I need to unhook this ribbon cable that's connecting the video. I want to make sure that I do this so that I can remember. It was writing up, and it looks like connections down. No, connections up. Yeah, they're up. All right. Well, writing goes up. All right, very good. Put this aside. All right. All right, then these other parts I had hooked onto here, it looks like, with bolts and screws. So, in a very weird way. All right. I'll loosen these up. I should be able to remove the Pi once I do that, I think. Maybe. Let's see. Oh, I still may have to unscrew them. All right, so there's the Pi is in this 3D printed case that I made. Yeah, these will need to be unscrewed. Kind of tight in there. Let's see. I had music playing. I don't know what happened to that. Let's try that again, I guess. All right. So what we're going to do use 2? So yeah, 2. All right, so we'll get that out of here. I've got a wireless keyboard and mouse in this USB. Yep, there we go. All right, so that's off. We're getting there. We're getting there. Next thing, I think I'll take off the. I don't need the power on that. Next, we'll take off the Nano. I left my drivers with the handles somewhere else, and these things are kind of a pain in the neck to have. But go with what I've currently got in the shop. Sometimes I got the right tools, sometimes I don't. You just got to make do. All right, here we can remove this now. All right. I don't know why I mounted these like this. I think it was just what I had at the moment. It worked really well, so let's see what I do with the next body. All right, I'm going to wait to remove the amplifier and speaker because that's not as important as these other parts starting out. I'll do those in a minute. Now, let's get this stuff out of the way. Here are the parts that I printed. These are the 60% size in-move torso parts. So, this is going to be the back. The back. That's the front. And there's a bunch of other contour pieces that I'll use later. This one was modified. I'm not sure if it's still going to work, but it was modified to have the Pi4 sensor in it. And it's still not quite right. I've got to change the model just a little bit. All right. So the tricky part is I've got to mount. Let me get this. I have to mount. So this is the bottom. This is the top. I have to mount this in here somewhere. Where it's going to fit. I'll drill holes and everything. I need to make sure that I'm not blocking. I need to make sure that I'm not blocking any of the supporting structure. And I think it's thick enough to hold everything. Let's see. Let's take these out first. The case together. The trick is going to be getting all this routed. I mean, that's ultimately the trick. Now, does it go sideways? See, the big problem with sticking the Pi in something like this is that I'm going to have the power, the HDMI, and the audio cables coming out from this side. I will have this PIR sensor coming off the board from over here, which that can be routed pretty easily. But then I've got this ribbon cable for the camera with the connector on it coming from here. I may have to get a longer ribbon cable to make this function because this connector may end up being a problem, and it may need to twist a little bit before it makes it up to where the camera is. So we're just gonna have to see. You know, ideally you want your cables to be all hidden and come out in some type of singular place. If I want to do that, oh, and I also have, you know, USB on this side. So I've got USB over here, which I think I'm only going to need one, right? Yeah, I think one, at least starting out one, and these over here. So this is the real important part. This needs this and this. It makes it really hard to figure out where in the I put this thing. Because ultimately I'd be like, oh, this is great, and this will come up here, and the head will connect. But then it feels like maybe something like this, where all the cables come down and out. But then this is going to be really difficult. Yeah, it's really, really tricky. So here's the head, the tilt pan. So that's going to be really, this is going to, yeah, see, this will fit. Man, it just barely fits too. That's what's crazy. The ribbon cable is not going to really work like I'd like. The in-move body might not work, you know, especially at 60%. I may have to use the 60% body for something else. I would go with something a little bit bigger. You know, the thing is, I could put this on another torso. I have a full-size in-move torso that this might fit better into. Everything would fit better into it, actually. Several weeks ago, I made some quick measurements and decided, oh, I'll just print 60% and everything will work out fine. And we'll be able to figure out how to hook everything in, and everything will be perfect. And let me just tell you, everything is not perfect. But, you know, I honestly did not have time to sit and spend a lot of time on it. This is this is not what I do all day. I would love to do this all day and spend the time on it, but I'm spending all the time that I have available on it. And we're doing everything we can as quickly as we can because we want our robots to be active, you know? We've had several different robots, and We've had them do several things, but now we're trying to take things to a whole new level. You know, I'm going to go ahead and get that other torso. It's like a short torso. It's only the top half. Let's grab that. Why not, right? I mean, it's right here in the shop. I might as well try out all options. There's no reason to force one option. All right. So just put that aside. And 1 second, and I'll grab it. All right. So this torso is actually from our second in-move robot. He was really colorful. He had eyelids that opened and closed. He was a really cool print. But there's no reason why, at least for right now, we can't use this for our purposes. This is let's see. You know, I could get that to work in there, I bet. All right, let's just take it apart. Why not? That's kind of what you do, right? Sometimes you just got to wing it. It's all about trying things out, seeing what works. Okay. Huh. Are these numbered? All right. Where's my music? Let's try that again. Scramble and play. There we go. Wow. The screws are really long, much longer than I thought they were. Interesting. But I guess they have to be to hold this neck on. So there's a lot of weight up on top on the head. Huh. Loose yet? No, there we go. Okay, so that's the neck piece. All the cables go through there. All right, so I think this is the top. We could get our robot here. He could fit right in there. Actually, rather well. It's pretty funny. Let's see. Yes. Interesting. Oh, then what about the Pi? Where would the Pi go? I guess it could fit right here. Cable looks long enough. Probably get the long one anyway. Or I could go ahead and just make an entirely new body for him that actually houses the equipment that's here. Ooh, that's his motor controller. Yeah. I guess I gotta decide how this is gonna go. I mean, it could be as simple. Gosh. Simple as giving him a square body. And just find a square container for him for now. New things, and he's doing really, really well. I don't know if you've seen any of the short clips that we have of him identifying faces, and we haven't really shown a whole lot, just a few things. So I don't think he's going to fit in that body that I printed. I'm going to have to give him something else entirely. The Pi just it needs too many access points with power, HDMI, audio, a USB, and this ribbon cable, and the PIR sensor. It needs a lot of room for those cables. And a little bit more than the body I printed will allow. So that's all right. That's all right. I can try something new. I'm probably going to go with an entirely different audio setup. This little amplifier board and this speaker that came out of my InMove robot were just temporary. I just had them kicking around, so I pulled them out of my InMove robot. Were just temporary. I just had them kicking around, so my pull weren't intended to stay with him, and that's kind of why I left it on there. Intended to stay with him, and that's kind of why I left it on there. To test some of his capabilities tomorrow, and I don't know how much we're going to show tomorrow. Tomorrow evening. because a lot of it's just sitting with your face in the computer, and that's kind of boring to watch. Once we have some results, then we'll make a video about that. But I'm sure there's things tomorrow that we'll be able to show as we're doing it that are more physical and mechanical. The coding stuff is just extremely dumb. So anyway, I at least got him taken apart and got all of his base components, the Pi, the tilt pan, infrared camera, the Arduino Nano, separated out so that I can get it into his new body for tomorrow. And yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm going to leave it tonight, and see what we can get to tomorrow. All right, check back and see us. All right, have a good night.